Hello and welcome to the InFocus series section of Drishti IAS. I'm Aisha, and in today's episode we will be discussing about the topic of the National Human Rights Commission and why its accreditation has been deferred by a UN body. So let's see first of all about the points of discussion. First we'll be looking at the news, then about the accreditation agency, then about the Paris principles within it, then why India's accreditation is on hold, then India's record of accreditation with the GANHRI, which is a UN body, and in the end a prelims MCQ. Topic is of relevance from General Studies paper 2, that is groupings and organizations. So let's begin. The news talks about why has a UN body withheld accreditation to India's NHRC, that is the National Human Rights Commission. So what has happened recently is that for the second year in a row, the organization has affiliated with the UN Human Rights Office has deferred. So the UN Human Rights Office has deferred accreditation for India's human rights body, that is the NHRC. So NHRC has been deferred the accreditation. It has been deferred the recognition by the UN Human Rights Office, and this has happened for the second time in a row. And without the accreditation from the Geneva-based Global Alliance of the National Human Rights Constitution, that is GANHRI. So it is the GANHRI within the UN which gives accreditation to the Human Rights Commission or human rights institutions around the world. So if India is not getting the accreditation from the Global Alliance of National Human Rights Institution, then India's National Human Rights Commission will not be able to represent India or vote at the UN Human Rights Council. So if India or the NHRC will not get the accreditation by the GANHRI, then India will not be able to NHRC will not be able to represent India. It will not be able to represent India, or they will not be able to vote at the United Nations Human Rights Council. So this has happened. India has NHRC and it has not received accreditation from the GANHRI, because of which NHRC will not be able to represent India or vote at the UNHRC. Now about the accreditation agency. So GANHRI, which represents about 120 national human rights institutions, so it has around 120 international human rights institutions, and it is responsible for reviewing and accrediting institutions in compliance with the Paris principles every 5 years. So GANHRI gives accreditation to institutions on the basis of the Paris principles every 5 years. So GANHRI, through its subcommittee on accreditation, that is SCA. So GANHRI, through its subcommittee on accreditation, it categorizes the member NHRIs into two groups, and these two groups are A or B. So GANHRI actually categorizes the national human rights institutions into two groups, that is group A and group B. And in the year 2023, by the year 2023, 120 NHRIs were accredited by the GANHRI, but India's accreditation has been deferred. Earlier India was given accreditation, but now this for the second year in a row, India's accreditation has been deferred. It has been put on hold. Then about the Paris principles. So what are those principles on the basis of which GANHRI gives accreditation to NHRIs? So these are principles which are relating to the status of national human rights institutions, and these are adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in 1993. So they have been adopted in 1993, and they are minimum standards. and they are the minimum standards which the national human rights institutions around the world must maintain in order to be considered credible and operate effectively. So in order to be considered credible and operate effectively, they are the minimum standards which needs to be followed by the NHRIs. And there are 6 main criteria under the Paris Principles which determine that the NHRIs are functioning effectively and credibly. And these 6 criteria are as follows. First, broad mandate based on universal human right norms and standards. Second, autonomy from the government. Third, independence guaranteed by the statute or constitution. Fourth, pluralism including membership that broadly affects their society. Then next, adequate resources, and last and 6th one is adequate power of investigation. And these are the 6 criteria. So India's accreditation has been deferred on the basis of not being able to follow the Paris Principles properly. And this is the reason why India's accreditation has been put on hold. Now, why India's accreditation on hold? What are the reasons? So NHRC was seen as not properly adhering to the Paris Principles. Like for example, it was observed that a lack of transparency in NHRC's appointments. And it has been, see, these are the criteria of human Paris Principles. So second is autonomy from the government, while it was seeing a lack of transparency in NHRC appointments. Then conflict of interest caused by the appointment of police to oversee investigations, and it has in the Paris Principle, it talks about the adequate powers of investigations. Then no minority or female representation on the panel, and this was also one of the major points, that no minority or female representation on the panel. And these are the reasons that has been given because of which the accreditation has been deferred. Then India's record of accreditation with the GANHRI. So that is, NHRC was established in the year 1993, and since then it was accredited for the first time in 1999, and then it got A rank in 2006, and then it retained it in 2011. After that it again got the A rank, but now since last 2 years its accreditation has been put on hold. So what we comes to know from this is, it is not that GANHRI has never given accreditation to India. So that is not the case. Earlier India got accreditation and India got the A rank also. It means India was performing well. But now, since last 2 years, India is not getting accreditation from the GANHRI. Now, in the end, a prelims MCQ, and you people will give me the answer in the comment section. And that is, the NHRC was established in which year? That is 1991, 1992, 1993 or 1994. So, give me the answer in the comment section. And that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Till we meet next time. Keep reading, keep writing, and keep subscribing to the channel. Thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.